Okay, today, well, I've got the opportunity under a roof and not on the side of the road. I'm going to change my bald back tyre and put a new tyre back on it. And I thought, why not bring you along and show you how I go about changing my tyre. And so, all you're going to need, bike pump, is like a 10mm, a 22mm, a 14mm, 2 tyre levers, and 17mm. And you'll be able to get the wheel off and change it. So let's get going. Alright, this is your Postie bike tip of the day, and that's put the center stand on some boxes or something like that, and then this back wheel gets a little bit of height and it will come off easier. Otherwise, once you undo it, you're gonna have to lay the bike over, and well, it's all good, but I find this way much easier, and that's how I do it without laying the bike over. Alright, so you know the tools you need, and what I do first up is I undo this rod here. That's for the brakes, because it just makes it easy to get the this brake assembly off. You can just pull it all off without undoing it, but it's a hit miss with me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So to save any dramas and that, I just undo this straight up. And once that's undone, I move on to this nut, which actually should be the other way around. You have it this way if you want to live life on the edge and lose it. Last time I did it, I put it on that way. So we're going to rectify that today. Okay, we've undone that. Now we'll take the 22mm onto this nut here and undo that. Just takes a little bit of leverage. Usually you don't need to put the 17 on yet, but yeah, we'll crack that and away we go. Alright, we've popped that off, and what I usually do is just tap it out. I just tap the axle out. Right, so let's give it a bang. Alright, now I've banged the axle over a bit. I can grab onto it and like pull it out, but usually I sort of have to take the weight of the wheel a little just so I can wiggle the axle out. That's why it also helps when it's off the ground a bit. It's always a bit of a pain. Boom shanker, and now we can pop out these two, the brake and the sprocket, and hopefully the wheel drops out. Oh god! And here we go. Ooh. That easy. No. Next challenge: take the tyre off without piercing the tube when I get the new tyre on. So let's do that. This is a bit rare for me, actually letting it out of a tyre to change it, but anyway, this is the first step. Now for the fun bit, which is popping the tyre off the rim, and in this case, without pinching the tube. So I usually just try and work it in nice and gently, and hopefully it comes off. And I haven't pinched the tube, and I can reuse this tube. But yeah, I'm certainly no professional at this. I just have a lot of experience changing my particular tyre. Oh god. Trying to be so gentle. Now I'm going to pull the tube out, and then I'll take the rest of the tyre off, just so I can don't break it. So far so good. Now let's pull the tyre off. When it's all left like this, it's much easier. You should just be able to rip it off. If it's a worn out tyre, usually you can. But I just give it a little bit of a nudge with this, and it just pulls off. So easy. Pop! There we go. One old tyre, ready for the scrappies. Check this out. This is not good. I've broke another spoke. Oh man. Okay. After a little bit of swearing and cursing and chasing a few bad leads and a few good leads, I've found someone about 100 k's away who has some spokes I can steal. So I'm not going to walk there. What I've done is I've called Uber Bike. Don't you have the Uber Bike app? So I'm going to go ride Pillion and go get some spokes. So let's go do that, and then we can bloody finish the how to do a tyre tutorial. Ping! Alright, we're back. I've sorted out the spoke issue with this thing, and so now we can get going and put this new tyre on. So first, select your new tyre. I got this one donated to me by Steve. You just check to make sure there's like no dirt or anything in it, and then you're ready to go to pretty much reverse the taking off process. And so let's just get started on that. It's pretty simple. Okay, so we've got our tyre and our rim, and what I do is I lay my rim down and then put the tyre over the top of it, and then I just try and push it on as much as I can, and then I just work the edges with the tyre levers until I get it all on. It can be tricky, but you get there with a bit of perseverance. Then I get the tube and I line up the valve to where the valve hole is in the rim. Then I just roughly put it in place. Then I stick the valve through. Then I take the little nut and I put that nut just, you know, halfway down the thread of the valve so it doesn't pull out, but I've still got room to move, room to play with it. When I put the tube in, I like to put a little bit of air in the tube, just that it swells it up a bit and makes it harder to pinch when you go to the next bit of putting the bead of the tyre back in the rim. Then what you want to do is try and push the bead of the tyre onto the rim with your knees, with your hands, with a rubber mallet, with anything, rather than using any metal tools. But when it gets to the end and all those tricks don't work anymore and you're forced to use some tyre levers or whatever, just steady and just take your time to not pierce the tube. You've got the tyre and the tube in now. You can pump it up. I get it to about 2.5 bar, which is about 35 psi for the weight I'm carrying, and then roll it into place under the bike. Where I go next for that is I put the tyre under there, and then I get the sprocket and I try and line that up with the crushed rubber mounts. I'm going to lift it up and put that in. Once I've got that in place, I put the spacer back in. Once the spacer's back in, I can go to the other side, put the brakes back in the hub. Once the brakes are back in the hub, then I put the rod for the brakes back in and put the nut on just loosely. Then we can lift it up and put the axle back through, making sure I've got the chain tension on that side in and the spacers in. Push it through, and before it goes all the way through, I get the other spacer for the other side and make sure that lines up, and then I push the axle all the way through, get the other chain tensioner, make sure that's on, then I put the nut on. And this is where you're going to need the 17mm and the 22mm to tighten the chain, to tighten the nut up enough so there's a bit of tension, so then you can adjust the chain with the chain tensioners, putting them at the same line on either side so you roll straight. Once you think they're in a good spot, get a spanner and jam it between the chain and the sprocket into the between two spokes, and then that's when you can tighten your chain. And then you have a new tyre, or you've just changed the flat and you're ready to rock and roll, and the adventure can continue. So I hope that was helpful, and if not, let me know. If it was, let me know, and if you think I could do something better, let me know. But until then, let's go ride a postie bike.